Hey guys, welcome back to Karting with Chris. Today's video is going to be in the endurance race. So let me walk you through who all is here. So first, we've got George. He's the diggity dog.
Diggity dogs.
He is not racing, but these three fine folks are racing. We got Colton here. He's the strong boy of the group. And then we got Colin here. He is the, I don't want to say the dumb one of the group. And then we got Nick here. And Nick is Ben's replacement. Moment of silence for Ben, please.
Anyway.
Okay. And then we've got Tiffany here. Tiffany is our cart. And as you can see, she's got all the right side pods in all the right places.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Got the squad here, getting ready for this endurance race. Chris is looking for something. What are you looking for, Chris?
I found my GoPro.
He found his GoPro, gang.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. We got his old card here. It's kind of gone, though.
Sheila,
she's called.
Zoom in on Alfonso here.
Alfonso. He lost us the endurance race last year, if you'll remember.
Bull.
Please don't swear in these videos.
I had this kid on Snapchat.
How do you think this race is gonna go, George?
I think it's gonna go really, really badly. I think Nick's gonna take us out.
Nick, how do you respond to this?
I'm probably gonna take us out.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel very comfortable. I'm on the last stint, so I'm basically gonna win it for us. If we win, it's basically gonna be my fault that we win.
Okay, that's fair. Colin's back now. Colin, how do you think we're gonna do on this race? If I don't mess it up like I did last year, I think I'm gonna say, where are we starting? Fifth? I'll say third or fourth. Third or fourth?
Yeah. Okay. If we don't break down, legit, top 3.
Nick, where are we finishing?
Fourth. I just.
Where are you finishing, George?
I think top 3 could be
Top 3?
legitimate.
I'd be pretty happy with a top 5, honestly.
Yeah. Okay guys, so for today's race, we are running the GoPro, and I'm gonna try and run the GoPro the entire race. So you're probably wondering, how am I gonna do that? So we've got the GoPro mount right here. We've got a battery pack. Now I've never used this battery pack, but basically the GoPro goes on top of the battery pack and it plugs in through here, and hopefully it lasts the entire race. And it's mint out of the box. You can see me pull the plastic off. It's pretty satisfying. If you guys are into unboxing videos, this is the video for you. Look at that. Perfection. So this race is going to start out with a Le Mans style start, and the race director up here will explain how that works.
The Le Mans start, you start from behind this white line and run to your cart. You're one mechanic. One, not 2, not 3, 1 per cart. Start the cart, no pushing. No pushing. No pushing. It would be heck to get a penalty for pushing and find that out after 3.5 hours that you got a 1 position penalty for pushing. That'll stay. No pushing. No pushing, 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 no pushing. We got that? 1 mechanic. Everybody else clear the area.
So that is basically how it works. The driver runs into the cart, there's 1 mechanic, and pulls the cord, and then off you go. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to push the driver. Can't quite remember, but just to be safe, I wouldn't push the driver. So right here, we tried cheating a little bit. We tried getting a little further ahead. Didn't fool anyone, but I'm going to skip ahead to when they actually do the Le Mans start. So here's some external footage right here, and basically you want to only pull the cord once and off you go. And you can see some people are being forced into the grass here, almost going 4 wide into turn 3, and I'm going to show you what the onboard looked like. So right off the bat, we can see someone is trying to jump the start. I think that's Josiah. You can't jump the start, man. And then they finally wave green. Colin runs into the cart. We get it on the first pull. Colin's going to try and look for any gaps. You see everyone's moving on the inside, so he goes to the outside. Follows number 98. Lost a bit of momentum because he kind of had to back off to number 98. And then the guy in first loops it. We gain a position there. We're up into 4th place now, but sadly, our cart is not in the best conditions, and I'll explain, and you'll see throughout this video. Down the straight here, there are 2 people behind Colin, and they are basically working together to get past Colin. and now we're down into second to last, I think. So coming out of turn 1 here, we're going to look for the move through turn 2. Colin thinks better of it, so we back out of it. And I don't know what everyone else is doing tire pressure wise, but we are running extremely low pressures, so it's going to take a long time for our tires to warm up. Here's an external shot I took here. There are the leaders going by. Here's us in second to last place. Really struggling pace wise. You can see here through turn 7 go really wide, and that's because of two things. A, as we get past here, that's because of two things. A, our tire pressures are really low. Again, don't know what everyone else is doing, but B, our chassis is bent. So we did not plan on driving a bent chassis. We were actually here the day before practicing, testing, and tuning, stuff like that, just getting ready. And it felt fine. The kart was in good conditions. We were setting pretty decent lap times, so we felt pretty confident going into this race. And then when we came back the next day, this day, the first practice session I started, and it was pulling hard to the right. And so we checked everything. We checked the tires, we checked the front alignment, and then when we checked the sweep, we noticed that the chassis was bent. We don't know exactly where, we don't know exactly how bad, but it's bent somewhere in the rear, and so any single time we turn left, it just wouldn't turn left. So right here, this is a left-hander. It would not go through that corner. Turn 2 is another left-hander, would not go through that corner either. And then turn 3, it would turn too much through this corner, and so the back end would go all over the place. Through the chicane, didn't feel that bad through the chicane. And then up ahead through turn 7, again, would not turn left. So it was unfortunate that this track is counterclockwise, so you turn left more than right, but this is just something we had to deal with. Another thing that was happening that none of us were aware of was, as you can see, the GoPro is slowly tilting down, and this is because the battery pack was just too heavy for the mount, and so it would cause it to slowly tilt down. So I'm going to apologize in advance for the crappy GoPro angle. I was planning on doing multiple videos with everyone's stint, but just because later on you'll see that the GoPro got so bad that it just is basically impossible to see what's happening up front. So Colin, as you've probably already guessed, is our first driver. He's doing the first stint, and then our second stint is being done by Nick. Now Nick has never been to this track. I'll talk more about that later. And then Colton is doing the third stint. Colton will be running a little bit heavier than the rest of us because you put weight based on the average of all the drivers, not each driver individually. So he is going to be running a little bit more weight than he's used to. And then I will be doing the fourth stint because I'll have less weight than I'm used to, and so I'll be a little bit faster, and I can make up any lost time. So as you can see up ahead, everyone is pulling away from us ever so slowly, and we were not putting down competitive lap times, nowhere near. I think the guy in first was a second ahead of us, which was really upsetting. And you can see the GoPro is still dropping down, so soon we're not going to be able to see up in front as it has right now. So this kart was extremely undrivable, especially through these left-handers, turns 1 and turns 2. You really had to muscle the kart through these corners. It just would not turn. And so it would fatigue you even more than just a normal kart, which is not good considering this is an endurance race. And then down the straights, you also had to muscle it because it just wanted to go off into the grass. So I'm not going to show the entirety of this race. That would take way too long, hence why I don't have a lap counter on here. But I am going to show you little clips here and there of just basically the highlights. So we were actually the first people to get lapped. That's how slow we were. So coming out of turns 8 and 9 right here, we've got the guy in first directly behind us. Colin's going to point him by. No point in fighting with him. But one thing we knew that if we, as number 98 goes by, he was in first. One thing we knew that if we kept the kart on track, had no breakdowns, we knew we could get in the top 3. Because there wasn't really that many people here. There was only like 7. So compared to last year, there really was not a lot of people. And we knew that everyone put their fast drivers out first. and we still had some good drivers to go, so we knew this race wasn't over. So up ahead, there is someone up here for us to pass. I think this is for position because they made a pit stop, and so I think they've got one of their slower drivers in. And so Colin goes around the outside, dips a wheel into the grass, but gets the move done. We're now in second to last place, so we're no longer in last. And now we can continue to move on. Like I said before, you know, we've got faster drivers to go, so the race is definitely not over yet. We're playing the long game. Again, the camera's going to be falling down, so I do apologize for that. But there is someone up ahead. You can't see them, but trust me, there is someone up ahead. I think it's the same person as before, so I think we're about to lap them. So this is good news for us. We don't have to worry about the people in last anymore. So we catch up to number 635 here, pull along beside them, get the move done in turn 1, and now we've basically secured second to last place. So we do have someone up ahead right here. Basically the camera's going to look like this for the rest of the video. I really apologize. The mount just could not handle the weight of the battery pack, but there is someone up ahead, and you can see them right there, number 691. Colin's going to get behind him, get within that draft going down the straight here. I think he caught up to him a little too early, pulls along beside him going into 7, and then brakes nice and late, has the inside to the corner, and now we are up into 5th place, I believe. So I'm going to have Chris explain to you how exactly we signaled each other to come into the pits. Okay, so what we used to signal someone into the pits was this long pole right here. It's about 5 to 6 feet long. It doesn't really matter how long it is, but it's got lights on it just in case it was dark out and you needed to see it. So it's very noticeable to see, but it also has Santa on it, and Santa is a very recognizable person, so you're not gonna miss if you saw Santa or not. And he also sings and dances. And honestly, if you can't hear this or see this on track, then you're a lost cause. Thank you, Chris, for that lovely explanation. So we've got Colin coming into the pits right here. He's going to go in kind of quick, but not unsafe. He pulls into the pits. He gets out, takes the gas cap off, hands it to Nick, who's in the cart next. We fill the gas up. My job was to put chain lube on the tire, and then after it is full of gas, we put Nick in it. He pulls a cord, puts a gas cap on, and then we get back out on track. So we're putting the gas cap back on right now. Nick's getting in the cart, pull the cord, and off he goes. Once he gets on track, he has to wait by these cones until the marshal deems it safe to get on track, and then he can begin his stint. Now, compared to other pit stops, I did watch other pit stops, that was a reasonably quick pit stop, so we weren't slow on the pit stops. Now, the tires are going to be a little bit cooler because they had a chance to cool down a bit, but if you do the pit stop fast enough, then you shouldn't have to worry about temperature. So we skip ahead. Nick is now behind another driver. He's looking for the move through turn 1 here. Again, can't really tell because of the GoPro. Looks for the move through turn 1, thinks better of it, which is really smart. You should not be doing risky moves in an endurance race because you basically have to play the long game. And if you crash out, it's not going to be worth it. So he's going to stick behind them. He's going to wait till turn 7 to pass them, which in my opinion is the best place to pass someone. So he gets behind them, pulls along beside, passes them into turn 7, and gets the job done. Now Nick was our lightest driver, so he will be a little bit faster coming out of the corners. So like I said earlier in this video, Nick has never been to this track prior to this race. He did come out here the day before to do some scouting, but prior to that, he's never been out here. So the day before, he was setting pretty decent times. I think he was half a second to a second off of everyone else, which is not that bad. And we knew throughout the endurance race he'll keep learning the track and he'll get better at it. NTK is not the hardest track in the world to figure out. It's only 9 corners, and 2 of those are the chicane. So in reality, it's only about 7 corners. So it's not the hardest track to learn. But prior to this race, Nick has done karting. I don't know for how long and where specifically, but he has done karting, but it has been a year since he did karting. So he did say he was a little rusty, but to me, he learned the track pretty quickly, and he was actually doing decent times. So at this point of the race, I believe we were in third place. We were in fourth for a while, but then someone up ahead, I think they were in second, their wheel got yeeted across the track, and their hub basically got all of its bolts ripped off. I didn't have footage of it, but it was good news for us. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, if we just keep our heads down, you know, keep it on track, no mechanicals, we should be able to put down decent positions. So at this point in the race, we're in third, and the people behind us aren't faster than us. We're pulling away from fourth, but we're not quite catching up to second. So before this race started, Nick told all of us, he said, if you have to shorten my stint for the better of the team, you can do it, because the minimum requirement of laps you have to do is 25 laps per person. So Nick said he knew he was going to be slow. He didn't know how slow. He actually wasn't that slow, but he said, if you have to shorten my stint, then do it. So we noticed that we could catch up to second place. So Colton and I talked to each other. We said, let's pit Nick early so Colton and I can push, because we know we'll be setting faster lap times. So this is going to be Nick coming into the pits here. And this pit stop is going to be a little faster than the other pit stops, purely because we're not putting any fuel in to let Colton be able to run a little lighter. So here I am putting the chain lube on. I don't know who was taking this video, but as you can see, a pretty well-oiled pit stop right there, and I was very happy with the way that pit stop went. So at this point of the race, we are in fourth place. We did lose a position because even though we didn't fuel, a pit stop does still take a while. So we are in fourth. I think we're the only people to do 2 pit stops at this point. I could be wrong, I could be wrong. But we are catching up to third place pretty quickly. I think Colton was about half a second faster than Nick, so this was a smart move to do. And there are 2 people in front of Colton right now. One of them is third place, and it is for position. So we're going down the front straight here. Colton's gonna go on the inside of both of them, 3 wide into turn 7, gets the move done. We're now into third place, and now we're gonna try and catch up to second. So at this point of the race, we were about 30 seconds behind second place, but we were about a second to half a second a lap faster than the people in second. So we knew eventually we were going to catch up to them and pass them. So this was looking very promising. First place had lapped the field like twice already, so we knew first was out of the picture unless they had a mechanical. So second place was going to be our objective. But going through the chicane right here, something catastrophic happens. The GoPro falls off the mount, gets flung into the grass, causes Colton to go into the grass as well. And that is all the onboard footage I was able to get. So I'm gonna hand things off to Chris and let him show you the damage that was done to the GoPro. Okay, so this is what's left of the GoPro after the race. So this plugs into here, like I said before, plugs into here, and it also plugs into the GoPro, giving it battery. Makes sense. So as you can see, this thing is destroyed. It still lights up, so I bet you it still charges things, but here's where it broke off. So that bit broke off, that's what attached it to the cart. And then once that fell off, you can see it scraped against the tarmac here. And then that caused the GoPro, this is where the GoPro was mounted. It caused the GoPro to get ripped off, and this mount is basically toast. This thing is bent here. This thing's fine. And then this is the case that goes onto the 7, and there's a little flap that goes right here that you can open and close it. And as you can see, that is no longer here. And then this right here is where the GoPro would have attached right here, kind of like that. And that has been torn off. And then the GoPro itself is actually fine. It works perfectly fine. A little dirty, a little bit scratched up, but still works. You know, it's just fine. So the case did its job, but everything else went wrong. What a nice guy that Chris Hoyles guy is. He has just been so helpful throughout this video. So I'm not going to just talk while you guys stare at the sky. I'm going to go back in time to Colton's earlier footage here. I'm just going to explain to you what happened later on in this race. So this is not real time anymore, but further on in the race, we were catching second place. I think we were 20 seconds behind them. So we were gaining about a second a lap. So we knew that we were going to catch up to them, and we were catching up to them quickly. But about 19 seconds behind second place, our chain popped off. And, you know, a chain popping off is not the most uncommon thing in the world. And it's a pretty simple fix. You just pop it back on and get back out on track. But as I am going to explain, it wasn't the most simple thing in the world. So I'm going to hand you off to Chris with the analysis. Thanks, Chris. I'll take it from here. So if you're wondering how the chain fell off, well, that's basically what I'm explaining right now. So this cart is my brother's cart, see number 607 here. And I'm just going to use it for demonstration purposes. So there's no motor on here, there's no sprocket on here, but just pretend this chain was on the sprocket. So of course, when the chain falls off, it falls off the sprocket, and usually it comes off right about here, or maybe on the other side. But this time, the chain got underneath this little part right here. I know it's kind of hard to see. It got underneath right here and was hanging out over here. And we tried pulling it out from under here. I don't know how it got there in the first place, but we tried pulling as hard as possible to, you know, really get the chain out there. And we really couldn't. So we had to unscrew all these bolts right here, lift the axle up, and then we had enough space down here to get the chain out, put it back on the sprocket, put it back on the motor, and then get back out on track. First of all, huge shout out to my brother for allowing me to use his cart in that demonstration. Thank you, Ben. You're a real nice guy. But like I said, the chain got lodged in between the axle and the frame, was extremely hard to get out, and by the time we got back out on track, we had lost 9 laps. So at that point, I think we were in third to last place, so I think that's 5th overall. But that's only because the people behind us were either DNF'd or had even worse problems. Now, sadly, because the GoPro fell off, there is absolutely no footage of me driving, so I'm just gonna skip ahead to some more footage of, I think this is Nick driving. Again, this is not real time, but sadly, I could not get any footage of me driving. And you aren't allowed to have a GoPro on yourself. I did think about a chest mount, because I know they say no helmet mounts, but I don't know about chest mounts. I didn't want to risk it. So the rest of the time I was out there, I knew we were so many laps behind. It was near impossible to make that up unless someone up ahead had mechanicals. So I just went out there and just tried to have fun, and I actually did have a lot of fun. Nick, George, Colton, and Colin were cheering me on up and down the fence. I was pumping my fist, having fun. There was another team out there. Oh, I forget what their name was. But there was another team out there. I think they were telling me to slow down because their driver was catching up to me. But, you know, we were all just having fun. So I am going to spoil the end for you. I don't have too much video left to show you. But we did end up in 5th place out of 7. I do believe the 2 people below us DNF'd, so technically last place on track, but 5th place nonetheless. And that is a Karting with Chris video confirmed. As we look at other people driving, this is what it looked like at nighttime. This is not me, of course, but this is other people. But yeah, that's going to be it. Here's the 5 of us just chilling out. We all had fun. It was a fun day. Even though it wasn't the position we wanted, we still had fun. And, you know, if you think about it, it was all because of that chain falling off and the way it fell off. But, you know, I'm not that mad about how it ended. But that is going to be all I have for this video. I do apologize if it is a little longer than usual, But as always, if you like the video, please subscribe. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.